Hello, wonderful people. We are back with a little bit of new news. Again, it's another article. You know it. You know the drill. No videos for a little bit. Though I must say that if you want to stay as blind as possible on Ninja Gaiden, it's probably the best time to go dark on social media because some folks have got their copy of the review copy. I don't know when the embargo is going to be lifted. I would assume October 20th would be the case where all footage will be publicized. But as far as like smaller news goes, yes, people have gotten their hands on this game so far. It is out in the wild, so if you want to be dark on the story, on the content, then probably either mute the words NG4 slash Ninja Gaiden 4 for the foreseeable future, or just stay off social media if you can help it. If you have that much willpower, then more power to you. If not, then yeah, probably mute it and definitely stay away from YouTube because people will try to clickbait. 100%. I won't, but people will. Unless it's April. So I'll think about that. Anyways, let's get into the first article. Again, this one is Japanese, and I translated it using the translate, and this time I used the US translation. So if it's better than the last time, we'll see. But yeah, let's get right into it. Death in the game series new. Again, here we go with this. Ninja Gaiden 4, the boundary line of just the right high difficulty, as developers think. A line that is neither sweet nor unreasonable. So, talking about difficulty. We asked developer of Ninja Gaiden 4 about the difficulty of this work and as a new work in the Death game series. Death game. Souls games? Okay, we'll get to it. Microsoft announced on October 21st is that Koei Tecmo Games will be working on Ninja Gaiden 4 to launch. Ninja Gaiden 4 is the latest work in the Ninja Gaiden series, which organized from the Ninja Ryukenden series. It's the old NES games. Like it's like the OG Ninja Gaiden. Compatible platforms are PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC and Steam. And I think it is on Steam Deck too. I remember a couple of people said they instantly pre-ordered because it is Steam Deck supported. So if you want to play it on Steam Deck, it's also there. In this work, the old enemy that was once sealed away has been revived. An endless rain of miasma is pouring down on Tokyo in the near future. The main character, Yakumo, is a young genius ninja. Yakumo confronts the armored soldiers and monsters from other world that are blocking his way. Together with the legendary Hayabusa, he faces fate and fights to free Tokyo from its curse. This work is jointly developed by Koei Tecmo Games and Platinum Games. We spoke to Yuji Nakao, producer and director of Platinum Games, and Masakazu Hirayama, director of Team Ninja of Koei Tecmo Games. 37 years after the Famicom, Ninja Ryukenden, the new series, Ninja Gaiden 4, will be released this year. How did you feel about developing this work, which has such a long history? Also, are there any particular difficulties in development to keep up with the history? Actually, now that I think about it, 7 years ago would have been 2018. That's when they started development on this game. So Ninja Gaiden 4 is a product of the 30th anniversary. That's approximately when the development time or the development process began. Because they wanted to do it for a long time, but they started development and putting everything together around then, and this game has been officially in development for 5 years. So yeah, so Ninja Gaiden 4 by all means is the 30th anniversary gift. But anyways, moving on. Mr. Hiroyama. As Team Ninja, we have been looking for opportunities to create Ninja Gaiden for over 10 years. We've always wanted to create one, so in that sense, we are very happy that we are able to create a new title with the support of Platinum Games and Microsoft. The first IP I entered into a game development myself was Ninja Gaiden series. So I'm very humbled to be able to take on the challenge again as a director. In fact, Platinum Games, especially Mr. Nakao, has professed to be a fan of Ninja Gaiden. So I think we were able to work together across the boundaries to reboot the Ninja Gaiden series. Reboot? I don't think they mean reboot as in reboot. Reboot. It's just like they're booting it back up. not rebooting it, actually you're booting it back up because it's been dormant for so long. Nessa Nakao. I myself was a big fan of Ninja Gaiden series. When I was a student, I came up with almost all titles, including Ninja Gaiden. I'm pretty sure it's like Ninja Gaiden Black, and Ninja Gaiden 2. I never expected it to be the platinum games, and it was a great honor for me to be involved as a director myself. And most of all, I was much more excited. So he's saying that ever since he was like a teenager, he was used to play these games, he used to own all these games. He didn't own 3. I guess that's when his life started, so he couldn't really play video games as much. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, there's a gap about 10 years since the last numbering, so I wanted various players to enjoy the fun of Ninja Gaiden. I had a strong desire to create something that I would never forget, centering on the original fun of the Ninja Gaiden series. Question: Ninja Gaiden has solidified its identity as an iconic series of action genre while attracting many fans over its long history. Why do you think that is? What do you think makes Ninja Gaiden unique? Also, how is the uniqueness reflected in this work? Here we go, they're going to talk about the same stuff. Mr. Hirayama says, I think the characteristic of Ninja Gaiden series is that you can move that so-called superhuman actions. You imagine with the word ninja as you would like. Go through the main character Ryu Hayabusa. So they're saying you can move fast like a ninja, you can do stuff like a ninja. Your actions are like a ninja that you can think of. Hollywood ninjas that you can think of, I should say. In this sense, there is an intuition that allows you to move as you wish. In order to achieve that intuition, there are a variety of action options, and you can not only experience the player's super play, but also the attacks of corresponding fierce enemies. I think it's the identity, charm, and fun of Ninja Gaiden. Yeah, they're saying the back and forth you have with the enemies at the speed they happen is why Ninja Gaiden is Ninja Gaiden, and that is true. Ninja Gaiden has always been like this. Is like, yeah, you have to look at what the enemies do and try to capitalize on it. Because if you don't, they're gonna go back to being defensive, which puts you at a disadvantageous situation. When you're trying to punish enemies when they're on recovery, it's much easier than trying to like swing on them when they're not recovering from an action. This time, in collaboration with Platinum Games, we have thoroughly tuned the core of Ninja Gaiden-like experience, while taking on various challenges such as installing a new protagonist and introducing a new battle system. So this work is also a new protagonist. Yes, but I think we were able to incorporate the experience that made you feel like Ninja Gaiden up until now. So they're saying that, yeah, we added a whole bunch of new stuff and a whole new character, but it still feels Ninja Gaiden. Mr. Nakao, in terms of fiercely attacking enemies, the unique thing about playing Ninja Gaiden is that the players and enemies are equal. They also guard the enemies and do throwing techniques, but I think it's a very difficult part to make this an action game. In order not to spoil the situation this time as well, we were developing the catharsis part, not only of feeling good, but also of overcoming unfavorable adversity as an important access. So yeah, they're saying that, yeah, we wanted you to feel like you definitely getting pushed, but once you get through it, you feel satisfied instead of frustrated. Those are big words considering from the series, right? So that remains to be seen. Series Ninja Gaiden 3 has been on hiatus for a long time. Ninja Gaiden 3. Why has Ninja Gaiden started moving so much now, including Ninja Gaiden 2 and Ninja Gaiden Ragebound? 2 Black, that's what they mean. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, why Ninja Gaiden? Okay. Why Ninja Gaiden? Okay. Mr. Hirayama says, we may go back to the first story. We've always wanted to take on a challenge, but on top of that, the same goes for Platinum Games and Ragebound. It's not just about us, but about other developers. We are developing it with your cooperation. So Ragebound is not like internally developed by Team Ninja either. It's done by the same guys that did I think Streets of Rage. So yeah, it's both these games are technically outsourced. Ninja Gaiden has been outsourced both ways. Of course, Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja own the IP, but the people working on it are not directly Team Ninja staff, not fully at least. So of course they oversee it, especially with Ninja Gaiden 4. Ninja Gaiden 4 needed a lot of overseeing because it's an action game. There's very little you can mess up with a side scroller like Ragebound, but there's a lot you can mess up to make a game lose its identity if you are doing a 3D action hack and slash game. That was a mouthful. It is because of everyone who cooperates with the title Ninja Gaiden that we have released various titles this year under the title of Year of the Ninja. I think we were able to achieve this through such connections through Ninja Gaiden. So it's saying that yeah, because there was high demands for it, and there was a lot of like people around the world, developers and fans that actually know this game. This happened because it's a big thing. It's been dormant for a very long time, but it's always been big. That's why the collection came out. Development started around 2018. They were like, okay, let's take a couple of years to make the collection, which was the Master Collection. That probably helped fund and reassure them that yeah, people still want to play Ninja Gaiden. And they were like, wow, the collection popped off. Let's do black. Let's do two black. And they did two black. So like, yeah, like Ninja Gaiden is definitely has a very loud beating heart there. It's just, Team Ninja doesn't have the resources to do it themselves, so they have to outsource this to companies that are specialized in what they do. Platinum is specialized in making hack and slash 3D games, and the Straight to Rage guys are amazing at making side scroller like artistic style. Like holy mother, all their games look gorgeous. I might be wrong on that. I might be thinking of Shinobi, but fact check me. I do not mind being proven wrong. Yeah, I think it's the Streets of Rage guys that did Ragebound, but yeah, let me know if I'm wrong. I'll search it up afterwards. Mr. Nakao, I feel like I've been waiting for opportunities for a long time. Speaking of Team Ninja, I think Ninja Gaiden means that we should never forget that. Okay, that's a weird translation. Three, I can't even like begin to describe what the fuck this meant. So that's that. 3D from pixel art, Xbox, and multi-platform series released from the Famicom, and the Ninja Gaiden series have undergone various evolutions. Where can you see the evolution the most in this work? Here we go. We've heard this one before too. Mr. Hariyama answers, in terms of this work, the most important mission was to find out what to do about the fusion of Platinum Games Sun's Game Sun NES, okay, and Ninja Gaiden NES. The action of the new main character Yakumo in this work, the new type, the Blood Raven, the Raven type, has become a symbol of such fusion. After all, Platinum Games has developed many wonderful action games such as Nier Automata and Bayonetta, and I want to incorporate Platinum Games' signature dynamic of speedy action. Action because we respect. Okay, I find it surprising they don't mention Metal Gear Rising too much. They usually just say Nier and Bayonetta, probably because they're recent. I mean, hell, I think Revengeance came out before Ninja Gaiden 3, so if anything, it's even older than the last title of Ninja Gaiden. So anyways, the character Yakumo is characterized by the ability to use a mode with a normal weapon and is a so-called upper mode called the new type, which is the Blood Raven. Of course, you can enjoy the primitive attack and defense of Ninja Gaiden even in a normal mode, but if you use the Blood Raven on top of that, you can change it from the double sword you have by a default and use a very long sword, Masu. I think that such a dynamic sense of skill and an increased sense of battle skills are the best part of the number in Ninja Gaiden. So Ninja Gaiden 4 that incorporate the goodiness of Platinum Games. It is definitely a Platinum touch. In terms of Platinum's evolution, there's an evolution of graphical representation. I believe that one of the characteristics of Ninja Gaiden 4 is the expressions of violence. This is the point that Platinum Games put a lot of effort into developing from the beginning. However, we are developing the game not based on horror-like grossness, but rather on action-like exhilaration. I wonder if the evolution of the platform has allowed us to evolve details such as the feel of the hand when cutting with a sword, and the exhilaration when cutting the body, such as the expression of blood splattering and the expression of arms being violently blown away. The point of this work was to put more effort into expressing violence to make such an actions feel better. So they're saying that the obliteration techniques and UTs, dismemberment, all that is just more expressive now. The way the blood splatters, the pattern it splatters on, the effect it splatters by, it's like, it splashes on your screen when you do OTs now. Body parts actually like fly around. They don't just flop on the ground. They fly off. Like almost ragdoll like, but it's not quite ragdoll. Like there is intent behind the design. It's not free. And they're talking about like the platform, which is like the era we're in, the generation leap that we have done in technology when it comes to console gaming, even PC gaming. It's like, yeah, we are allowed to do all this stuff now. That's why like weapon switching is such a thing now because like there's a good system in it too to implement it. Um, not that we were limited by weapon switching back in the day. Like Capcom had that figured out by like 2008. Yeah. Mr. Nakao, when it comes to gore expression, I feel there is one part that has broken out of its shell. Even in the previous Ninja Gaiden, the gore expression was overwhelming, but it wasn't a scary, grotesque thing, but rather a slightly refreshing direction. This work is a major evolution of its work, as it is now possible to further expand the expression by having a huge weapon that can be used with a strange power of the Blood Raven type and supernatural abilities. A dynamic expression that can be obtained there, such as cutting off enemies and crushing them, are the parts that have been carefully selected because we were able to develop Ninja Gaiden 4 on the latest platform over time, I think. What they mean is like, when you are like using the hammer with Yakumo and when you do OT and you crush them, you can see all four limbs of their body pop out like they're a doll. And then once he lifts the hammer, there is a puddle of just carcass on the floor. It's just minced meats on the floor, right? You see the arms and legs just fly off, they just shoot out like rockets, and then there is a again puddle of meat under the hammer, and that is the reason why they say it's expressive is because that is delivering the information to is like, hey, Yakumo slammed this guy so hard on the floor with the hammer that his blood flow and every bit of oxygen and free space in his body pressured the only exits they could go to, which was his arms and legs. That's why they shot off. He blew up and shot off all this, which sounds extremely painful, right? But it happens in an instant, so I'm guessing the guy didn't suffer. But that's one hell of a way to go. Moving on, I've been very particular about the gore expression, including the blood, to put it in very detail. For example, the title screen is also slightly dripping with blood. I'm working hard on every detail. Yeah, if you have guys seen the title screen, it's a little bit like blood dripping there, especially on the title card. What is the difference between Ryu and Yakumo's playstyle and action responses? Please tell us what you were conscious of while making it. Mr. Nakawa answers, Ryu Hayabusa and Yakumo are characters that belong to different affiliations this time, but the same goes for the action. And this time, the two are thoroughly contrasted, including the character setting in the first place. While we are looking for a new protagonist, we think that we need to differentiate ourselves, so we divided them into young shinobi and a veteran warrior. Regarding the actions, we summarized the themes of Yakumo being smart and Ryu being powerful. They mean technical. This is a translation. Said Yakumo being technical and Ryu being strong, like powerful. Like he's a brute force, not brute force, but he's just physically bigger, right? Yakumo is still a kid, so he has to like, use his brain to get out of some situations and his tools. So he's technical. And the characters of each technique included that Yakumo has many speedy and smart attacks, technical, not smart, and Ryu has many attacks like before. You can now enjoy a number of powerful attacks. The Ryu's attacks are the same for the most part, the animations, but he has new abilities which emphasize on his speed and power. However, what they all have in common are both basic techniques such as the classic Izuna Otoshi, which is Izuna drop, and Zetsuwaza, which is the guillotine throw, I think, and the feel of the basic play part. The content is such that the same thing can be used for both. Did I say that? Zetsuwaza. Yeah, I did say. I hope you can imagine that each one is slightly tuned and has a different feel. But I feel like I can promise you that you can have a Ninja Gaiden like experience no matter which one you use. So I hope you can enjoy the difference between the two. I hope you enjoy it. A new game series. This series is often evaluated as a very difficult. But how difficult is this work? Mr. Hirayama answers, first of all, for the fans of the previous series, I would like to tell you that the fierce and challenging battles that are typical of the previous Ninja Gaiden series are meant to be delivered to you. Personally, I want to. On top of that, this is the first new action game in over 10 years, so I would like an action games fans, including those who are playing the series for the first time, those who are playing an action game for the first time, to experience it. Therefore, we have incorporated parts such as fairly flexible difficulty design into this. I am going to go on a tangent here, so I'll probably maybe put on. No, I'm not going to put a timestamp because people need to hear this one. Um, Video games are very well known now. People have been playing video games for a very long time now. People have been aware of video games for a long time now, even if they don't play it as much. Naturally, if you know anything about human evolution, I know this is going to sound a little bit out there, but human evolution, we adapt, right? We still might be bad at doing stuff, but we adapt to a situation. Kids, teenagers, even adults, especially adults like myself, like you, if you're 40 years old, if you're 30 years old, if you're in your late 20s, you've been exposed to video games for a long time. So naturally, especially if you've been playing for a long duration, you have become much better at playing video games as a thing. Your adaptation to picking up all the new stuff is much faster than it was back in the early 2000s or the early 90s, right? Your grasp of mechanics is going to be faster. Everything has been upgraded because we have been dealing with this for a long time, right? So we have evolved to a point where playing video games doesn't feel as hard as it used to do when you played Mario 64, Sega Genesis Sonic, all the old stuff, right? We have gotten so much better at playing games. Right? So that's one thing I need you to keep in mind, that if you put your hands on the game on normal and be like, oh my god, this is so easy, that's because you've been playing fucking video games for 20 years. And playing for 20, if you're doing anything for 20 years and if you still feel like it's hard for you, you're doing something wrong. So when you pick up Ninja Gaiden 4, you play on normal and you feel like the game is easy, it's because you're experienced. You have a lot of like back is not the right. We have a lot of like previous experience in this thing, right? And they have also designed it that if you're not like that, if you are new, like we were back in the day, you can just plug it up, turn on some of the easy options, and start learning by observing. That's the point of all the auto stuff, the auto attacks, the auto dodge, the auto. That's the point. It's like the player sees, the player goes like, "How do I do that?" Then the player explores. Where do I know how to do my moves? Oh, techniques. Okay, what's that technique? That cool technique where you drop them on their head. You scroll through the move list and you see these videos and you're like, oh, that one looks cool too. What is that? Square, square, triangle, triangle, triangle. So okay, I'll try that too. Where's the Izuna drop? Square, triangle, square, square, square. Okay, I'll try that. They learn, and then they realize the game is forcing them to do something they don't want to do with the automatic mode. And like, you know what? Let's turn this off because I want to do what I want to do, right? And then you get good. That's the get good kid part, right? Which I'll get to that too. It's a funny tweet they made. But that's the tangent. Just keep in mind that if you're in your 40s and you're playing games for 30 fucking years, you're gonna be better at this stuff than anybody else. If you feel like the game is easy, call your niece, call your kid, call someone that doesn't play video games, hand them the controller and see how they look like when they're playing a video game. Tell me if that looks easy to them. So just be open-minded. That's all I'm saying. On top of that, this is the first action. Oh, right. Go to the next one. We're returning. I'll put a timestamp here. For example, we have implemented a special mode called Hero Mode. In that mode, there are assist systems that support playing, such as auto guard and auto avoidance. However, in the end, we would like all players to improve and experience a more responsive battle, tailored to their own skill environment. As is typical of Ninja Gaiden, the assist system is not fixed through modes, but can be turned on and off from options. For example, in terms of guards, you can turn off that mode and practice guarding, and we also provide flow line for stepping up such actions. Also, for this game, if the difficulty level is in the first lap, you can choose from 3 difficulties: easy, normal, and hard. But there is no need to continue with the same difficulty level throughout the map mission. You can freely change for each chapter, making it possible for example, when you clear this chapter, if you say you've improved, you can change it to hard difficulty. Or conversely, if you say it's still too difficult, you can lower it again to easy. It's okay. We've always allowed you to take challenges at your most comfortable difficulty level. Then, if you clear the first level on the highest difficulty called Master Ninja, it will be unlocked. So if you beat any mode, then Master Ninja will be unlocked, as usual. But it is impossible to change the difficulty for that. And since it's the second leap, you will be able to train thoroughly on the first level. Please proceed with this and make sure it is the highest difficulty level that design is such. Okay, this translation is horrible, so I'm just gonna say what they're saying because I've read this like 50,000 times in different ways. They're saying if you start Master Ninja, you cannot change the difficulty. Master Ninja is a mode where you are supposed to be fully prepared for. So all your upgrades, all your talismans, all your charms, all your items, everything, all your skill, all your knowledge of enemies has to be there to be able to clear this difficulty or to even continue in it. So hard mode, easy mode, normal mode, you're free to do whatever you want. You can change the difficulty, you can equip all these automatic crap at your will. You want to equip it, you want to learn, go for it. But if you're going to touch Master Ninja, you better know what you're doing, and you better be prepared. All right, moving on to the actual dialogue. Listen to Kawa. It's not just that there are easy modes that make it easy to proceed, but that it's possible to tune it that anyone can experience it. Flinching combat, which is a unique characteristic of Ninja. Recently, the genre of death game, Souls game, has been a hot topic, but Ninja Gaiden may have been the first time I learned how good a death game feels. Mr. Ayama, so, that was a question. So am I. I think it's important to be fair between yourself and the enemy. It's very important to be fair whether or not you feel it's your fault when you die. Oh, not in Souls games. For example, if a player is killed irrationally, I don't think it's easy to realize what to do next. If you have a variety of options, wow, they're tackling like psychology behind this shit. Okay. For example, if players kill irrationally, I don't think it's easy to realize what to do next. If you have a variety of options, but if you fail and die, you can go through the trial and error and say, then let's do this next time. I believe that such try and error must be fair in offense and defense, and this story often comes up in Team Ninja. And I think that's the point that Ninja Gaiden has cherished throughout the series. Also, how difficult do you both think it is? Were you able to achieve that level of difficulty with this, Mr. Nakao? What do you mean by just right? When it's not even in there, but yeah. When it comes to the title Ninja Gaiden, I'm a fan myself, and in the sense that I'm responsible for developing the latest work. I don't think it's a game that can be played quickly. I am, okay. I think, I'm sure of it. I think there are a lot of elements in the middle of the road that are a certain amount of hardship or struggle, and I really value the catharsis that comes with achieving such hardship and spot. So it is. He's saying that because I've played it before, I think I have an idea of what to expect in the difficulty. So I've designed it in a sense that it feels hard, like you will get punished, but once you get through it, there's going to be a big payoff of emotional like burst. It's about how you feel about just the right level of difficulty. But at least Ninja Gaiden 4 has the same level of difficulty as this series. And it also has a lot of accessibility. I think it was just right in the sense that it was easier to play. So NG4 is a product of modern times. Modern times means accessibility. Accessibility means easier time, more comfort. So more comfort usually makes the experience easier for you. The fact that you can aim all of your use attack without shifting your strings anymore. The fact that you can aim guillotine through it. The fact that you can aim wind path. The fact that you can, cancel Izuno drops like Ninja Gaiden 3. That's a lot of comfort. The fact that you have a lock-on display and a lock-on. The fact that you have the grapples. Accessibility can absolutely make a game feel easier. But it's because there's less jank. There's less uncomfortableness. It doesn't mean it's easier. It just means there's more polish in it. But by result, of course, it'll feel more easy. What kind of player do you think it will suit? Some of the most difficult genres these days are Souls-like. But for Souls-like players who don't know about this series, please tell us what you can expect from them. Nothing, just fucking dumb shit coming out of them. Mr. says, first of all, as a pure action game, we're not talking about Ninja Gaiden's identity, but I want you to feel the fun of moving the characters above else. If you want to move your ninja simply, I feel like if you take your hand, you can do something like this, or you can do something like a ninja. But they're talking about like the movement feels like ninja. You can wall run, you can grapple, you can jump off people's head, and all that stuff, right? Now, Mr. Nakao answers, after all, I think that the pure primitive action games of a yesteryear are a series of various things. Although there are a wide variety of genres emerging in this modern times, I don't think pure action games themselves have become obsolete. I'm quite sure that there will be a potential people who want to play such works, including myself. So I think it's a game that really hits those people because those elements were the parts that couldn't be removed. I think that can be done to match various trends, but I've always talked to Team Ninja about Ninja Gaidenness and the fact that we shouldn't remove it even after a while. I think one big thing is that I'm making it without changing it. All right, to translate this right here, to summarize it for people to get, he's saying we are aware of all the trendy stuff going around, like roguelike, like Souls-like, like Neo-like, which is their own product. You know, battle royale, all these the slops that are all over the place now because nobody wants to be original, right? No disrespect to the games, but I'm wholeheartedly disrespecting people that just copy it. If you just copy a trend that doesn't belong to you and you do less with it, that that's bad. You could have been original. You could have made something great, but instead you went safe with it and lessened the value of the product. The reason why, as much as I don't like Souls like slop, I love Neo is because Neo is extremely unique in what it does, and I respect that. I respect Bloodborne. I respect Elden Ring, and I respect Demon Souls. Dark Souls, not so much, but But every other game that copies the Souls-like trend and they do it horribly, like Darksiders 3 and somewhat God of War. If you That's a whole different argument. I'm not gonna get into, but if you let's use battle royale before I get people riled up. Battle royale, Fortnite came out and ruined the whole industry with the Game Pass and all that stuff. But everybody also tried to copy the battle royale format, right? So because of that, you had COD, Black Ops 4, come out with Blackout, and it was just battle royale, and they didn't know what Fortnite was trying to do, so they just copied what they could as best as they can at the time. Now it's evolved because they're copying each other's homework pretty much. And then roguelike ended up being just like, hey, do you hate playing RPGs that have RNG mechanics? Don't worry, you can play single player games that have RPG mechanics. And it's like it's been around for a while, but it's a little oversaturated again. We have a lot of roguelikes coming out. And no, there's a couple of games that I'll give a shout out to. Like Returnal was great, Hades is great. Both games are fantastic. But then you have a lot of slop. You have a lot of slop in there. Like a lot of games are just breaking their own identity. Morbid Metal being one. Morbid Metal was supposed to be a hack and slash game, and now it's a roguelike. And I know why they went that direction because they just had too many actions and too many ideas to fit on like the couple of characters they had. So they were like, okay, we're just gonna add it as extra abilities you unlock randomly. I was like, okay, fine, but that just made my interest drop in that game for like 90%. I don't care about that game. I was really hyped about it. So what the Team Ninja devs are saying here is that we are aware of all this stuff, but we're not gonna break our Ninja Gaiden, our baby, to appeal to the trend. We're gonna do what Ninja Gaiden is, slap a little bit of platinum in them out of respect the fact that they're working on it. They're allowed to express their own, development cycle on it. And we're gonna stay true to the hack and slash nature of Ninja Gaiden the way Ninja Gaiden is. So you don't have like jump cancel like DMC. You don't have fucking minigame. I hope you don't have minigame. I really hope that you don't have like singing minigames in the middle of Ninja Gaiden and stuff like that. Like Bayonetta, and like you don't have like press circle to execute that. Like, even though technically you have that with Ninja Gaiden, you've always had like press triangle to execute. Circle doesn't appear above the head. It's not God of War. It's trying to be Ninja Gaiden. It's not breaking trends. It's being what it is the best as it can be in the modern times. Like it is up to us to appreciate that and understand that. A lot of people are not going to be open minded about the modernity, the modern uh, take they have done on Ninja Gaiden 4. But it is up to us to understand why they had to do some of the stuff they did, like with Yakumo. Anyways, moving on. I think that can be done. And okay, I've done that. Platinum Games is participating in the development of this time. Please tell us about the actions that were only possible because Platinum Games participated. Well, Ninja Gaiden as a whole was only possible because Platinum participated. But anyways, Mr. Hirayama. As I mentioned earlier, I believe that the new mold system, the Blood Raven, symbolizes the action that Platinum Games was able to take. First of all, in this dynamic Kirin flavor, okay? It's a bit off track with the action, but I think Platinum Games typical Kirin flavor. I trying to translate that. I actually don't know what that means. Flavor is not just about action, but also about the okay, now they're using the flavor of art, which has a unique art style. Ninja Gaiden was characterized by some interesting art that looked like Tokyo, but wasn't in the real Tokyo. But like it's a futuristic Tokyo. What with the addition of Platinum Games, we wouldn't be able to express the individuality of that area. There were quite a few ideas. So, Platinum put its own twist because of the graphical engine they have. This game is not run on Unreal. This game is running on a Platinum engine. So let's get that clear out of the way right now. So yeah, Platinum put its own touch on the game for sure. Like it looks like a Platinum game. It looks like Bayonetta. It looks like Metal Gear. Like yeah, it does. It does look like it. It does look like those two games because it's using the engine of Platinum games. So of course it would use like it, and the same people are developing it. So that being said, it's still Ninja Gaiden. Anyways, for example, on stage, there are not only so-called forest and city stages, but also nightclub-like stages. And when I first saw that, I wondered if it was okay to have such a playful stage. Zombies sometimes appear on the club, but I thought that was kind of nice. Platinum Games' ideas were strongly reflected in the somewhat funny, silly, or rather relaxed aspects of Platinum Games. Of course, we are developing it seriously. I think it's because we teamed up with Platinum Games, which includes not only action, but also style that we were able to bring out the charm that we wouldn't have done it on our own. So they're saying Platinum's artistic creativity actually ended up being a good thing for Ninja Gaiden because they introduced some new settings to it that made sense. They look like they fit, even though they were kind of out there. I mean, Ninja Gaiden has always been out there. Like for God's sake, you fight an armadillo that's the size of a mountain that drops from an airship. Like, come on, like Ninja Gaiden doesn't make any sense ever. Like, you cannot convince me otherwise. You fight dinosaurs, you fight demons, you fight fiends, you fight gods, you fight samurais that don't know what a phone is. You fight ninjas that don't know what a car is. It's like and then you have flying cars. It's like the theme of Ninja Gaiden has always been all over the place. You can never say it has a thematic identity. It doesn't. Ninja Gaiden does what it does best, which is add an atmosphere that makes sense during the fun time you're having while playing the game. Right? You fight on a bridge. You fight on the elevator. You fight on the rooftop. How many times you fight on a rooftop? Every game. How many times you fight a helicopter? Almost every game. It's like Anyways, I think I finished it though. Oh, there we go. Platinum Games' ideas were strongly reflected in the somewhat fun. Okay, I read that. Can you tell us something about the last new information just before release? Oh, is this the DLC? First of all, we want you to play this game and enjoy it. But since then, we are currently developing DLC in order to have you play Ninja Gaiden for a long time. In the DLC, in conjunction with the addition of the new weapon type for the new main character, Yakumo, we plan to add story and other new challenges missions. First of all, I hope that you will fully enjoy the main story as it will be released next month. Also, this interview was last month. Cool. And that you will be able to play Ninja Gaiden for a long time, including the later DLCs. So I appreciate your combined support. They've been working on this DLC ever since they announced Ninja Gaiden 4. If you look at the developer direct of Xbox in January of this year, 2025, at the very start of this year, you can see the background that Yakumo had a site. It was being developed, and there was other weapons there. There's a couple more weapons there. So yeah, it's been there. But that's this interview. There's a smaller section to this that's actually just translated, so there's going to be no wording issues here. And I'll get through it fast because it's really short. Pure action games never get old. Quotations. And Ninja Gaiden 4 will be the game to prove that. We asked the Ninja and Platinum Games about what players should expect from the new title. AUTOMATON asked Ninja Gaiden 4 director Masakazu Hirayama. I have to always mess up some part of his name. I'm so sorry. And Yuji Nakao about what players should expect from the upcoming title. You look gorgeous as always, Ryu. Ninja Gaiden 4 is the latest installment in Team Ninja's classic hack and slash series. Hey, they said hack and slash instead of character action game. And it's the first mainline title in 13 years, with the game's launch October 21st, just around the corner. AUTOMATON had the opportunity to interview directors Masakazu Hirayama, Team Ninja, and Yuji Nakao from Platinum Game to ask them about what players, veterans, and newcomers alike should expect from the upcoming title. Hirayama-san explains that for starters, he wants players to simply enjoy the pure action that Ninja Gaiden series offers and is known for, continuing the tradition of the classic series while opening the doors for a new modern audience. Ninja Gaiden 4 is, at its core, a game where you get to experience Ninja Gaiden-like action through and through. So if you're even a little bit curious about what it feels like to become a ninja, you should take the game for a spin, Hirayama suggests. On the other hand, Ninja Gaiden 4 could potentially reignite the spark of veteran action gamers as well. As Nakao sees it, there are still demand for the straightforward, rudimentary hack and slash action. You have no idea how much I want more hack and slash games in the Ninja Gaiden series was built upon. And the new title might satisfy the hunger of those who are looking for such an experience amidst emerging hybrid genre. It won't satisfy me, but I will appreciate it to death. I'll tell you that. I will only be satisfied. Don't The day I'll be satisfied with hack and slash games is when I get a new Devil May Cry that's fully finished for once. DMC has never been finished, a complete product ever since 3. Even 2 wasn't finished, but still on topic. Unless we gotta get a new Devil May Cry that's fully finished with all the characters and all the girls. Like, I'm tired of not having the girls. I'm tired of having to pay for Virgil twice. I want a God of War where Kratos has knees and he can jump. I want a Bayonetta on every platform and not just that goddamn toaster that can barely run Tetris. I'm talking about Nintendo. And I want Ninja Gaiden to be back. And I think it is. And I think we're there. So the start of my famishness being clenched is beginning. I might be satisfied if this trend continues. If we get a new announcement of a Devil May Cry game, this Game Awards, or maybe next year at Summer Games, or if we get, God of War coming back as the OG's getting remade or something, I will be ecstatic. And Bayonetta being ported to every console, that would be amazing. Because who the hell wants to play Bayonetta on a Switch, 720p, struggling to maintain 60 FPS? Never. Free my girl, Nintendo, please. Anyways, moving on. Rambled on enough. There are many pure primitive action games series from the past. There are still some who managed to stay relevant to this day. Again, everything I just named. And I personally don't think that the pure action games have become obsolete, despite so many new and diverse genres being formed in the recent days. I'm confident that there are many potential players, including myself, who want to play such games, and I believe that Ninja Gaiden 4 will hit home for those people. Nakao explained, while they have been trying to incorporate specific new trends into the title, Nakao suggests that the developers were intent on not losing the traditional action-packed essence of the Ninja Gaiden series is known for. No matter how much time passes, that's one of the things that we did not want to compromise on. We, Platinum Games, have had continuous discussion with Team Ninja throughout development, and that the fact we were able to build the game without changing any of the core elements was a major thing for us, Nakao commented. Ninja Gaiden 4 is set to be released on October 21st for PC, Windows, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Steam Deck. And to tie this off a little bit for people that are still confused about this, I did not spell that right, did I? I did not. But it doesn't matter. The A didn't come out. I think my keyboard messed up. This is what you want to pay attention to. The deluxe edition of Ninja Gaiden 4 is $120 Canadian. This is not US. Let's do you guys a favor. Do you guys a favor, because I know. Alright, so the deluxe edition of Ninja Gaiden 4 is $89.99. With taxes, depending on what state you are, it's approximately $95 to $100. The base edition of the game is a $70 price point game. It is not $80 like a lot of other games are. It's not forcing any of that on you. And if you buy the deluxe, it's $20. Now, if you want to do some math with me, 20 plus 60, what is that? That's 80. So $69.99 plus $20, it's $89.99. So you're not getting a cheaper deal buying the deluxe. You're not forced to buy deluxe because it's cheaper, because it's more beneficial. No. You can buy deluxe if you feel like it, whenever you feel like it. Or you can buy normal and buy deluxe separately on top of it later when it goes on sale. Or, as I've seen many people do, and myself, you just buy the deluxe edition because there's no point buying this separately. You're gonna end up getting the deluxe anyway. So if you want to wait for a sale, absolutely do that. Absolutely do that. Now, the preload for Ninja Gaiden is going to go up on October 18th, 9 o'clock Pacific time at night, 12 o'clock Eastern, I think 11 o'clock Central time. I might be incorrect on those last two. But the preload for the Xbox version is up already. You can preload Ninja Gaiden on Xbox. Steam, I'm not sure. I don't think it is up on Steam yet, but you can always check. So that's all the addition. That's the explanation there. If anyone was ever confused about this, and to bring up the content, the fantastic deluxe edition doesn't list the content. So let's go on game. Stop switching these. Okay, talk about the content. So the content is you get the base game, character skins, weapon skins, ninja coins, which is in-game currency. Does not matter. You can earn this much in one mission. You can earn this much in one mission. Does not matter. Additional in-game items does not matter. You can build them in-game. Future gameplay content that matters. Future gameplay content is new weapons for both Yakumo and Ryu. I don't know how many. We've only seen one extra. Yakumo gets a scythe. Ryu gets a katara-like weapon, like fist weapons. There is more story after the story. That's all I'm going to say on that before spoiling it. And there's ninja trials, extra ninja trials. So you get more content in 3 different aspects. In fighting, which is weapons, in story, which is the extra chapter you get, and in side content, which is the ninja trials. That's all we have for now. I'm sure there's more, but we don't know anything yet. So that being said, that's been all. The only other thing that's left to say is a tweet Team Ninja did, which was kind of funny, but I'll bring it up. Ignore what you just saw. This, and I'll read it out. Yes, Ninja Gaiden 4 has several difficulty settings. Hard mode, learn your ninja powers and enjoy the story. Hero mode, sorry, not hard mode. Hero mode, you just pay attention to the story. Normal mode, the true path of a ninja. Hard, adversity awaits. All 3 modes can be changed anytime. Master Ninja, no mercy, no switching, get good kid, full face. So as I've said, if you plan to play Master Ninja, you better get your things together on these other modes. I don't know why I'm trying to censor myself now, considering I've been swearing the whole time. But yes, that's all That's all we have gotten so far from Ninja and regarding Ninja Gaiden. That's all. I'll click on this to see what's up. Oh yeah, this is the official website. I've ran through this. I've ran literally through every piece of content and word through this in a different video. So if you don't feel like reading it, you can listen to me read about it and give more context. If you want to read it yourself without my context rambling bullshit, you can just be all this yourself. And please don't be too loud. For people that want to see Wind Blades in a better quality, that's it. Comes out instantly. It's a screen nuke and it comes out instantly. I wish the camera was a little bit more like farther out so you can see all the effects, but sadly you can't. That's Wind Blades. We find the only Nimpo we haven't seen now is Phoenix. So that's that. That is the end of this video. The game comes out in 11 days, 4 hours and 30 minutes from what I just said. So exactly the time frame I just said it. So, depending on when you watch the video from, just add the hours to it. So, with that being said, as always, I've been happy to do this for you guys. I will be making more content when the game drops. I am waiting on a reply from the producer. I've asked him a question to see where the embargo gets left off so I can upload videos and stuff about the main full game regarding, I don't want to get smited by Team Ninja for uploading footage early. So, that's that. I don't want to get copyright strike for that either. But when I'm allowed to post videos, there will be full walkthroughs. There will be 100% walkthroughs. There will be chapter-specific ranking walkthroughs. Hopefully, there will be no damage walkthroughs. And I will do tutorials. I will do every type of string videos. I'm sure other people will do that. And, it's going to be there. But, yeah, a lot of content to look forward to later on. So if you've stuck around this long, especially till the end of this video, I appreciate you. But with that being said, I'm logging off for now. I will cover anything else that comes up as always, but till then, take care of yourself, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.